an initial thought after the Monday night game, because I'm not buying Philadelphia like I did before. I love their defense, and I like their weapons on offense. But what you and Lindsay and I were talking about, it made me think about it too, and somebody just put it in the chat. How can you guys not be buying the Lions as contenders with how wide open the NFC is?
Because the Lions have to get to the playoffs first. Like, am I buying them? Sure, but I have to buy the fact that they're going to beat the Rams or put on a show and make me think something different after they play the Rams. I'm buying the fact that they're going to go into Chicago at the end of the season when everything is on the line. I'm buying the fact that they're going to win 3 of the last 4 of their games so they can get to 11, because it's going to take 11 just to get in the dance. Unfortunately, this is another year like last year. It's going to take 11 from the NFC side to get into the dance with the 49ers, with the Seahawks, with the Bears, with the Packers. Well, they're going to win, no longer that. With the Lions. And then it's another one too. It's going to take 11, and if you don't beat the Bears, like the Bears they still can get 2 wins out of this thing. So it's not about not buying the Lions. They're not even in the playoffs, and they're not even in the wild card spot right now. They're trying to get to that spot.
Yeah, it's a challenging navigational system for the Lions right now. There's no doubt. I mean, when you've got to go to L.A., that's not easy. Pittsburgh, I know they're playing for something. Their defense hasn't been terrible. I think Detroit,
Where's Detroit health-wise, too?
Should win that. I mean, look, if people are bringing it up, it's a fair point for us to bring it up. I don't care if Christian Mahogany's coming back or not. It's not like this is an infusion right away of what Frank Ragnow would have brought to you a year ago. But and Minnesota's defense is stout, and we've seen that already. It's not like I don't think Detroit can win there. It probably comes down to that last game against Chicago, and those are going to be tough conditions. It's going to be very challenging for Detroit. It's not that I don't think they can do it, but to say that they're a contender right now might be a little bit forthcoming than I really am willing to go right now.
At the end of the day, they got a good win against the Dallas Cowboys. That game in itself wasn't necessarily the game that I thought it would be. They played well. They got a good win. But when you look at the Lions over the past 5 weeks, it's win, loss, loss. It's, never loss, but win, loss, win, loss. And it's this roller coaster of what are they going to be this week? What's going to be the issue this week? Or how are they going to survive and win this week? Like last week was the first time that they didn't have to survive. They pretty much led the whole way, and they controlled the tempo of that game. What does it look like for the Lions this game? That's the issue with the Lions right now, as you're talking about the postseason, as you're talking about having faith that a team can do something that they have never done in the history of their organization, their franchise, which is win the Super Bowl or win a championship in the modern era called the Super Bowl. Why would I have faith in a team that is inconsistent? And we're talking about at the end of the year. So it was a good win for them in Dallas, but once again, the thing with the Lions over the past 5 weeks has been we have to wait and see what the next game looks like, because it's been different each and every week.
Yeah, it's okay for us to say they're not contenders when they have a 39% chance of making the playoffs and a 61% chance of being out. 34% is a wild card berth, 61% to pick between 2 and 18 in the 2026 draft. So I think it's justified for us to say we're not seeing it right now. We saw it against Dallas. I think it's great. All right, we've seen it at times, but in order for them to make it, you need to see that repetitively, and you haven't seen that lately. And if you have, I'd like to know which team you've been watching. Now, that doesn't mean you have to buy in. Some people think, somebody said, 3-1. Somebody said they're going 4-0. That's from Flint Town.
4-0, you get in.
Yeah,
4-0, you will get in. 4-0, you will definitely get in, and we will be having a different conversation.
Right.
But nothing about what the Lions have done so far this season gives me any inkling to believe that 4-0 is possible. Do I think they can go 3-1? Yes. Do I think they can go 4-0? No.
Really good point by Detroit Gunny. He says the Rams have no home field advantage at SoFi. I agree with that. I like them because of their talent.
Never mention home field.
We never mention home field, all right? I think, because remember, and Braylon has brought this up a number of times, last year they went into Philadelphia, and you could have made the argument they should have beaten Philadelphia in Philly in January. Wasn't an easy trip at all, and we're not tripping either when we talk about that.
I'm just looking at the rest of these schedules and seeing what these teams have lined up. You talk about the Lions starting getting in. This is just with the teams that are right there, bottleneck with the Lions, which is the 49ers, the Bears, and the Seahawks. 49ers got Titans, Colts, Bears, and Seahawks. Like, they're already at 10 wins. I believe they're going to win 2 of those.
Yeah.
Just me. The Bears have Browns, Packers, 49ers, Lions. I don't think that they're going to win 3 of those. I think they got the Browns, I think they lose to the 49ers and the Lions. So that's
They
maybe
could beat the Packers, though. Bears could beat the Packers at home.
Can they?
I do. I think they can.
Okay.
They're going to overtime, if not for a poor throw and a poor decision by Caleb Williams, who I thought had a decent game. Okay, so I think they could go 2-2 there, and suddenly you got 11.
Seahawks have the Colts, Rams, Panthers, 49ers. I think the Seahawks win 2 of those games. Yep. They're already at 10-11 wins.
Correct.
So that's why I'm saying it's not about it's the way the schedules play out and where they already are. Unfortunately, the Lions have put themselves in the hole to where they are climbing out and playing catch up. And a lot of teams have some favorable situations moving down the stretch.
Right. Really good point by Dante, 151. He says, are we forgetting the Houston Texans because of how well they played in the AFC? I'm not. I think I love their defense because I love Will Anderson Jr. I think he's just phenomenal. I think they're really good. I do wonder if they could go into Denver and win. I do wonder if they could go into New England and win, although defense travels. I'm not forgetting them either. I think they're a contender, but I wouldn't put them as a favorite. They're not even leading the division yet. They've split with Jacksonville so far this year. I do not buy Jacksonville. I'm probably more apt to buy Houston than I would be Jacksonville.
Yeah, what are we talking about? Like, asking me about Texans is like asking me about Tulane. They don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Like, are they going to maybe win their division? Sure. I think the Texans have a chance. I think the way that their defense is playing, C.J. Stroud seems to have found something and coming back off of injury. Sure, fine. They can win the AFC South. And then what? I don't think they're that good of a team on offense. And I think the running game, they're trying to figure out if old man Chubb with 4 different knee surgeries in the last 4 seasons is going to be it, or is it Woody Marks? Like Dalton Schultz just got hurt again. So I think that they can win the AFC South. But in terms of being a Super Bowl contender, like, what are we talking about?
I think if we can get something that shows by the end of the week, maybe Braylon's contenders and Braylon's pretenders, that would be really, really dope.
There we go.
Yeah, they're not gonna like it unless they had the Lions.
This is a really good graphic because the playoff odds, the Rams basically in. This is what you've just been talking about.
Yeah.
Rams are in, Green Bay is in, Philly's in, Seattle's in, San Francisco's in. So Chicago and Tampa are at 70%. Tampa doesn't really matter because the only way they're getting in is if they win the divisions between them and Carolina. It's Chicago that you got to watch out for, right? The 70%. And when we talk about contenders, this is what we're referring to. If the Lions are at 36%, 38%, 39%, which we were just talking about, you can understand why there is a believability in some of these other teams, number one. And number two, it might be slightly different if we were talking about the Tigers 2 years ago in August and they had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs and went on a run. That's hard to do in football.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking at that 49ers schedule, man, like I really want to say 49ers would be your end. 49ers in Chicago, 49ers schedule down the stretch, like they'll be fine. They're going to have 11 wins
for sure
in the next 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Like the Colts team and what they have, and then that Tennessee Titans team who snuck a win against the Cleveland Browns. That's 11 wins for them. The Bears is your end.
Yeah.
The Bears is who you're fighting for.
That's
you
the
better
team.
hope the Bears lose to the Pack again, lose to whoever, the 49ers on the road. It's going to be a tough game after playing the Packers. And Browns are a defensive team. Like, they're a physical team. So you hope the Browns beat up the Bears, Packers beat them, and the 49ers beat them. And there it will be. When we get to that last game of the season, you guys will be playing for that playoff spot.
And just as importantly, you got to take care of your own business. Okay? I mean, it's going to be a tough challenge against the Rams. We know that. Okay? It's not that I don't think Detroit can score. You brought this up yesterday. That the Rams gave up probably too many points to Arizona. Okay,
I think so.
And they gave up too many
Michael Wilson
points.
had 11 catches for 141, like 11.
So that
catches.
tells you something. That Detroit should be able to put some points up. How are they going to stop that Los Angeles offense? That's what I wonder a little bit about. I'm not worried about the next two, but it's the bookends. It's the Rams and the Bears. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't think much about the Bears. I wasn't a big believer either. But what they've done, Philly, what they've done, Dallas, and how they played even in a loss to Green Bay. If you're forcing me to look at how
loss.
What's that?
That was a good loss.
It was. If you're going to force me to look at, hey, Arizona scored this many points, the Rams scored this many points, and so did Carolina, then I can look at Chicago objectively and recognize their offense at times seems to be gelling a little bit, moving the football well. I trust their defense, but their offense impressed me against Green Bay even though it was a loss. All right, we got to take a quick time out. We'll get to some of your super chats. We'll get to a lot of things that are going on in the chat when we come back on the Braylon Edwards Show here on Woodward.
Scott Boras, shut up.
Yeah, Scott Boras. We'll get to that coming up next because there's all kinds of Tigers news from the winter meetings. Tigers news, nothing's been decided, but there's been all kinds of people on different wavelengths when it comes to certain specific Tigers. Go ahead with Smoothie King.